What's up? What's up? This is the Crossover Sports Podcast, episode 87, coming to you live from humid, hot, on this from humid, hot Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, aka y'all already know how this is going to end. Title Town, USA, home of the Philadelphia world champion Philadelphia Eagles, your world champion Villanova Wildcats. We like to welcome to the Champions Club the world champion Washington Capitals. Screw Washington, D.C. all the time, but Washington Capitals, congratulations, and returning to the Champions Club for the third time in a row, Amina's favorite team, the Golden State, the former Philadelphia team, the Golden State Warriors. We'll get to that in a minute, but I'm rocking out with Trey and Amina. So let's have them reintroduce themselves, and then we'll get into these topics. Go ahead, Trey.
Yeah, man, it's been good to be back on the podcast. For those who are not Warriors fans, it's a sad day. Or yesterday was a sad day. But yeah, it's good to be back on the podcast again. And hopefully we'll have some. I'm sure we'll have some heated discussion about the Warriors and the Cavs today, especially because Amina's on here.
All right, they already know. Go ahead, Amina.
Hi everyone, it's Amina, the happiest person on this podcast today. My team, we swept them Cavaliers last night. We got our third title in 4 years, and I'm as happy as I could be. And the team is on their way back to the Oracle right now, and it's going to be a parade on Tuesday, and everybody is happy. The Cavs fans, of course. And we got some great shows at topics to discuss today, so let's get started.
All right. So for those of you that don't know, sorry, I have failed to mention to do this. Matt should be incoming. I don't know if Dre's gonna come. He's been running his mouth a lot about the Warriors. I don't know if he'll face Amina today. We'll see. So let's get it started with our crossover hot takes. Yes, as Amina said, the Warriors won. She thinks she's the happiest person, but it's really me because I called the fact that the Warriors were going to sweep them. So,
as she did, but these are my guys, and I'm so excited.
So once again, Colin was right, but we're not gonna dwell on that. We'll get to the Warriors in a minute. They have added to my swampness when it comes to the sports world and the fact that I'm behind all these articles. So thank you, Golden State. Thank you, Steph Curry. Thank you, Kevin Durant. Thank you, Draymond Green. Thank you, all of the Golden State Warriors, for making my life a little bit more hectic for winning last night. But anyway, how we always start this show, our crossover hot takes. For those of you that don't know, in our crossover hot takes, we can tackle different topics, whether that be sports related, politics, entertainment. Today, we have a nice little meshing of the sports world and politics that's been happening the last couple of weeks. So our crossover hot takes reflects that. All right, so our first question to the second most important topic here in Philadelphia, besides depending on who you are, whether LeBron James is coming here or not. Guys, do you believe Brian Colangelo when he says that his wife was responsible for the burner accounts and not him? Go ahead, Trey.
Well, I was listening to Brian Colangelo made a statement last night or sometime yesterday, and like Colin said, he said that he's talking out of two sides of his mouth because it was investigated by a law firm and they confirmed that that he was associated with the accounts through his wife, and that his wife was involved in running at least one account. And but then, and so Bryan Colangelo said that his wife, he kind of basically threw her under the bus, saying, that she was trying to do it to defend him. But then he says that he had no knowledge of it, and that it was all his wife's doing. Which, I mean, to me, it's kind of that's horrible to throw your wife under the bus like that. But I mean, I can't imagine that. I mean, maybe initially he didn't know about it, but I can't imagine that he wouldn't have known about something information so sensitive to the team, and information that if it had gotten out and it was known that he was the one who said it or agreed with it, that that there would be trouble. I mean, Bryan Colangelo has been working in this. He's a businessman. He's been in basketball for I don't know how many years, and he understands the idea of PR, and you can't say certain things, you can't do certain things, and if you do say certain things, it stays in the reps. So I can't imagine that his wife could have possibly just created these random Twitter accounts and then started tweeting things that Bryan Colangelo said or didn't say, but probably felt that way. I mean, the only way she would have had to make up things that he said, right? And I can't believe that. I mean, I can't believe that. It would make sense that she just kind of made up things to defend his sport, because the majority of, I mean, I haven't read all of the things that were tweeted, and I'm sure the accounts are closed now, but most of the stuff was, sensitive information about the team. It was, stuff being said about Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, talking about some of the stuff was about Sam Hinkie. So I imagine that this information would not have been known by his wife unless Bryan Colangelo said something about it to his wife. So therefore, he had to have had, even if it wasn't from the beginning, had to have had some knowledge of what was going on. And I think he's lying and he's being untruthful if he's going to say that he had no knowledge whatsoever. And I think it's horrible, again, that he would, just kind of like say, he's trying to make her seem innocent, but at the same time, he's throwing her under the bus, because what he's trying to do is, and it's actually smart from his perspective, is actually kind of smart, because what he's doing is he's kind of making it look like a sob story, like he really didn't know about it. His wife was trying to defend him and support him, and but it was he said the word he used was seriously misguided, and so I mean, and he's really doing it to save his career. It's a PR move. But at the same time, he's throwing his wife under the bus, and nobody believes that he didn't know about it. So, I mean, is his career done? Maybe not. But when you do something like this, and you're heavily involved in it, whether it was you actually doing the tweeting or your wife, I mean, it deters front offices from wanting to hire you, because they can't trust you. You've broken their trust. Whether Colangelo actually tweeted, his wife tweeted, whether he knew about it or not, trust is broken. And I can't believe that he didn't know about it, and had no connection with it, and it was something that his wife took upon herself to do.
Mina, it's all you. Go ahead.
Great analysis from Trey. He pretty much said a lot and pretty much said everything in a nutshell. And I'm going to just go into a little bit briefly. From what I understand, from what I read throughout this past week that's just ending today, his wife like cleaned her iPhone out before the investigators got a hold of it. So my thing is, they both were in on it. Married couples, they live together, traditional husband and wife. They live together, they sleep together, share a room together, share a bed together. They talk about everything. This is what married couples do. So he told her what he told her. You know, married couples don't keep juicy things from each other. I mean, it's unheard of. It's called pillow talk. We're laying there and joking. Some things slip out, and some things that shouldn't slip out. So yeah, she may have had connections to maybe one or maybe a few of these accounts. Yes, she did. But at the end of the day, he was the one that told her all this information because she's the wife. She's not working actually personally in the Sixers organization. She's not in the front office. She's not a player. She's not a sponsor or anything. She's a spouse of the general manager. So why would she have intimate details about it? And then they're talking. They were having releasing secrets about former Sixer Jamal Okafor, who was on the Brooklyn Nets now. And from what I understand, he may have a right to sue Colangelo and his wife if it comes out, if the truth will prevail. And just messed up. Like this goes to show you that in any world, Thailand is involved in the journalism world. I'm myself a little bit. I have history in the nursing world, and we both have HIPAA certification. Both have when we signed up to be part like evidence of employment or whatever, we had to sign paperwork for confidentiality, all that. And I don't know about anybody else's, but I work in a nursing home, and if you are found with documented evidence that you told medical information about a resident at a facility to someone that does not work at the facility as far as the staff, oh, you're getting fired. They will, you won't even be able to finish your shift. They will take you to the director of nurse's office and they will give you your termination slip. It's that serious in the nursing world, and it's that serious with professional sports. Just don't do that. Come on, like, and talk like what Kyler said in the previous episode was you basically tarnish your family's reputation in the end. Like, you come from what they call basketball royalty, and spit on your grandfather's name, your father's name, and just like fair. So that's disrespect itself, and I'm glad you're not a part of the organization anymore. But the bad thing about it is that he resigned. He didn't get fired, so technically he's still legally obligated to money and pensions and social security from the Sixers. So he kind of, hey, Sixers either they just stuck with them in some form or another. Yeah, his wife knew because he told her, and he probably told his children too. Yeah, he probably told his children, told his wife, as most husbands do. Fathers, they come home at the end of the day, tell what happened at work. Some things they shouldn't say, but they do, and it got out. So, hey, good luck to the Sixers on finding their new general manager. Like, this is crazy. Like, you can't trust people these days, you know? And some of the information that was on these burner accounts, like how And why was people's information about their physicals from seeing doctors on these burner accounts? Like, that's violation of medical laws. Like, come on. I just can't. Sixers, good luck with your next general manager. Hope that this, whoever he is, he doesn't screw up y'all again.
All right. Yeah. Well, since we're dropping information, the reason, and this is a rumor, I mean, there is a source to this information. This is being reported by PhillyVoice.com reporter Kyle Neubeck. That the reason it took the 76ers so long to fire, and I remember Amina had remarked to me a couple of weeks ago about why is it taking so long for them to fire Brian Colangelo. And, well, what might explain that is, based on Mr. Neubeck's reporting, is that Jerry Colangelo, the father, was trying to, how should we put this, was trying to pull rank, and basically, by his reporting and by the reporting of the source, of Neubeck's source, is that he was politicking the Sixers, basically saying, if you fire my son, I will make sure through my connections that you don't have no chance, or that you will not have no chance at any big time free agents like a Paul George, like a Kawhi Leonard, like a LeBron James through his connections. Now everybody knows that the Colangelos are basically the first family of basketball. They were basically, just for a little history lesson, forced on the Sixers because the NBA got tired of the Sixers sucking in one of their biggest markets for basketball in the country, right? And the Sixers basically had the league, and I think I said this last week, I mean, if I'm wrong, they basically forced the Colangelos on us, and we basically had to accept it. And, you know, like Trey said, for you to basically, now he was nice. He said, throw his wife under the bus. I'm going to say back, not only throw her under the bus, but continue. I don't understand how you can make such a bold-faced lie. Well, we all know now that your wife deleted basically phones, basically cleared her phone, did a factory reset of her phone, essentially. And you're telling me that somehow, of all the things, right? So when this first came out, Matt and Amina not Matt, Trey, Amina, and Matt, and all of them will remember me saying this. I said that either they were in it together or she was pulling rank, because there's no way she would know information that me as a reporter didn't know, that most of the Philly beat reporters didn't know, that Jallo Okafor may have failed the physical. No one's been able to confirm that, right? Nobody's been able to confirm that. That's either the best kept secret in the NBA or it's a lie. Either way, if I'm Jallo Okafor, the Colangelos are in trouble because you're defaming a player. Like, either it's true and you're violating HIPAA laws, which we talked about last week, or you're lying and you're slandering that man. And that's also something you can get sued for, because you're defaming that man. I don't understand the balls it takes to have a statement and be all like, yeah, it was my wife, it wasn't me. You basically pulled the Shaggy defense. It wasn't me. You know, but we caught you with about 5 burner accounts. Wasn't me. You know? What? How? I mean, really, he must think that the basketball world, that all of us have stupid written all over our foreheads, because that is some grade A BS for you to try and pull over us. You know? I can't with these people. They have some balls, man. When I tell you they have balls, they have balls. So just to be clear, no, I don't believe him. Yes, I think he's lying. Yes, I hope that he doesn't get a job for a while because you have violated the trust of your players. Who's going to hire you? And that's what the Sixers said. They basically had to get rid of you because you violated the trust of the players. You violated the trust of the organization. How can anybody trust you if you're sharing secret information with your wife? Now, again, should you have been fired for sharing information? Everybody shares information with their wives or their husbands. They're married. But nobody expects their people to go on a Twitter account and make some burner accounts. Yes, this is Philadelphia. Know what you signed up for. This is a tough sports town. We get on everybody, especially when we think they're not doing their job, right? Everybody says that. It's a love-hate relationship. But stop with these fake Twitter accounts and these BS apologies, man. We don't believe you. Matter of fact, initially, I'm kind of glad you're gone because obviously, and we're going to get to this in the next question, you tried to basically make the Sixers the Philadelphia Suns. Nobody wants that. This is like the Colangelos, right? They haven't won a championship, don't have a title to their name. They are the first family of basketball for no reason. Okay, Jerry Colangelo, he put USA basketball back on the map. He helped rebuild the Phoenix Suns. But let's remember those old school Phoenix Suns teams. Trey and Amita will remember that those Phoenix Suns teams were the height of mediocrity. They would get the playoffs and lose. They never got a finals appearance to their name. The closest they came was the Western Conference semifinals, and they wound up losing. They had nothing to their name. But somehow they're the first family of basketball. Somehow Jerry Colangelo thought he could threaten the Sixers by saying, "Don't fire my son or I'll ruin any chance you have of getting a free agent, a big-time free agent." This is some grade A power pulling right here. And I just can't. All right, so moving right along to our next question. The reaction to the fact that Brett Brown was the last option for the Colangelos. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, a little background on this. So more reporting has come out that the Colangelos, when they first got here, they did not want Brett Brown as their coach. They wanted Mike D'Antoni. When they couldn't get Mike D'Antoni, they have been trying, and a lot of us will remember because we talked about this on this podcast before, the fact that rumors have been flying that somebody in the Sixers organization was trying to get Jay Wright to leave Villanova and come coach the Sixers. It turns out it came straight from the top, the Colangelos. Trey, what's your thoughts on that? To Brett Brown being the last option for the Sixers? Go ahead.
I mean, that's in the past now. I mean, it does shed some light on, what we know now. Some of the things we know now about the Colangelos, in particular Brian and Jerry. However, Brett Brown is still in the organization right now. He's still the head coach, and now because Brian Colangelo is an idiot, Brett Brown is now interim president of basketball operations. So he can say, he has a say over, everything that goes on as far as basketball operations go. So, I mean, maybe he was maybe he was the last option, but, he's the head coach, and the whole, the whole Jay Wright thing. I mean, I like Jay Wright as a coach, but, and you pointed it out, Kyle, and I can't remember if it was an article or something. He said they tried to chip Kelly the organization. And I mean, Jay Wright could very well be a good NBA coach, but who knows, right? He's a college coach right now. A lot of times, college coaches come to the NBA or the NFL, they don't do well right away because it's a different game. But Brett Brown is the coach, and he's the president of basketball operations. So, I mean, he may have been their last option, but you know, he's winning right now, right? And he has an opportunity to do some big things in this offseason to really improve this team and put them in a position to be able to win championships. So even if he was their even if he was their last option, you know, he's winning right now.
Go ahead, Amina. I'm sorry.
You all pretty much said what you said with this question as well as the last one. It's pretty redundant at this time, at this point. Just goes to show that start messy, you end messy, and you're gonna be messy. So let's get messy out, and let's get the Sixers further than the second round of the playoffs next season. Okay, try to get over those Celtics. Let's work on that.
All right, well, let me just say this, right? You know, this just goes to show, going along with what Trey said. I mean, definitely Brett Brown is winning, but I mean, we don't know the timeline, but we should say this. At that point, when that was initially when before the Sixers, before I would assume this happened sometime last season because I know Brett Brown just signed an extension, not the one he just signed because that was a 3-year extension, but I believe the one before this one, before the season started, when it was, or 2 seasons ago, when it was just a year. Joel Embiid's 31 games debut season, I believe this would have been around that time, where before that season, if y'all remember, he signed a 1-year extension. And now, as Trey said, it kind of adds up why he only signed a 1-year extension, even though he probably didn't know about this. But this just shows that, you know, the news is always behind when it comes to stuff, because sometimes we get news about stuff that they knew already, right? So, you know, the fact that Brett Brown has lasted this long in an environment that was clearly hostile to him, where the fact of you had your top executive, your boss, basically the GM, Brian Colangelo, and then you had his boss, and the Don of the NBA, Jerry Colangelo, basically trying to get rid of you by any means necessary, and trying to turn the city against you and the person that hired you, Sam Hinkie. I was about to say Brian Hinkie, Sam Hinkie, and then basically try and turn the Sixers, like I said, into the Philadelphia Suns, and nobody wants that. And you know, for Brett Brown to last this long, like Trey said, Brett Brown's winning. He got this team to the second round, even though there's some people on this podcast that wanted him fired. You know, he has lasted in this city with people calling for his job, with the Colangelos trying to politic him out of the job. You know, I just have to give a big hand clap to Brett Brown. He basically has survived things that none of us knew about. And you know what? You are our coach. You are the city. You lasted in front of politics, and you're basically the definition of this city. And you know, I know you probably don't. I know you're probably too big to listen to this podcast, but I just want to offer a personal apology because I have been one of those people saying that you should lose your job. And, you know, after hearing about this rumor that might be true, that they've been trying to politic you out that job since they got here 2 or 3 years ago, I have to say I'm sorry, Brett Brown. You know what? You deserve to have your job until you prove that you can't handle it anymore. And right now, you made it to the second round. You don't deserve to lose your job. You deserve that 3-year extension that you got. And you know what? Like Trey said, you're winning. You're the president of basketball operations. You're the GM for right now until they either hire David Griffin or somebody else. You know what? You deserve everything you get. You deserve to see this through. at least for the next 2 to 3 years. You deserve it. I'm not going to say anything else. You're winning. You're great. Go ahead, Matt. Your thoughts. Oh, Matt, right now we are on the rumors of the Colangelo trying to get Brett Brown out of here, and then you can answer the other questions if you want. You there? Matt, you there?
I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive and well. Can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead.
For those, like I said, for those of you that believe that Mr. Brett Brown should be fired, like you said, kind of ate crow earlier. Here you go. First of all, like I said, and I said this before, that he is a what's the thing called? He's one of the best developmental coaches in the NBA. One of the best. And you've seen it just progress to this point. Now, imagine if we had like an extra enough. We're not even done with Markelle Fultz yet. Let's see what he can become under his system. But with that being said, right, here you go. If it is true, now, this is early speculation on my part. If it's true in the fact that what's his face, Mr. Colangelo's trying to basically push him out of town, knowing full well that you have a team that won darn near 60 games, darn near almost got past almost, no, I said almost, but literally trying to pass the Celtics and let the players understand, your players understand how significantly important the rivalry is between the Celtics and the Sixers, to where though Joel Embiid understood quickly and tweeted the fact of like, okay, I get it, I'm in, I hate the Celtics myself, you know. Who would not want to coach like that? Who would not want to coach that literally bought in to the system? And now all of a sudden you're going to talk about your players like a dog, and talk about your coach like a dog, and talk about the people that you brought in. You know, talk about them like a dog. And I don't care what type of job you got, I got no respect for you, because it shows that you don't care about those that you brought in. You care less. So, and you're trying to sabotage not only darn near the Raptors, darn near the Sixers, like I said, you darn near sabotage the Suns. So, personally, I got no love for you. You disrespect my team, you're gonna face some serious consequences. The reason Sam Hinkie is loved in this town is because he was upfront about the plan. We want to be good for seasons, not a flash in the pan, 2 years, and then we're back to where we were. No, we want to be good, very, very good. So I'm gonna go and answer this question only. I'll catch up the rest later. But the point is, you just committed a death sentence in Philadelphia, and just for that, I got no love for you.
All right, moving right along. Reaction to the Eagles being disinvited to the White House, and then we can just combine them. And then also, are we witnessing the erosion of athletes visiting the White House after winning a title? I'll start. Let me just say this: it was a kind of surprise to me that the Eagles did not go, and a lot of them said they weren't going already. So people like LeGarrette Blount. I mean, this wasn't a surprise to you if you paid attention to what the Eagles had been saying since they won the Super Bowl. Like Torrey Smith got out in front of it a couple of weeks after they won. He said, "I'm not going to to visit the White House because I don't agree with what President Trump has said about not the Eagles, the NFL players calling them SOBs, and he used the metaphor of you wouldn't go to a party of someone who disrespects women, calls your friends SOBs, disrespects you on every occasion. And that's the metaphor he used, because I remember watching that interview that he did with Donovan in which he said that. And so Torrey Smith said he wasn't going. LeGarrette Blount said he wasn't going. Or the NFL bowed down for gave him he wanted, had some policy now. You know, and so the NFL knew this was coming. The Eagles organization knew this was coming. And so now we got rumors of the fact that no black player was going to see 45. We have a rumor that Nick Foles, Doug Peterson, the mascot Swoop, and Jeffrey Lloyd were basically the only people going. Even Carson Wentz pulled out, which was all that stuff, and even pull out. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised about the. I am surprised that I'm not surprised. I'm surprised about because he's very funny. You know, I kind of believe that this is our fault because we didn't, as people, we didn't really outside of the Warriors. We let him get away with that. We let him get away with disinviting Amina's Warriors, and nobody said it took class because Golden State wasn't going anyway. You know, LeBron James famously called him an idiot. But we didn't say anything. All we said was, "Oh, they were going anyway." So basically, like the child that he said, can't play with it. Now, Republicans, independents, they basically said, one for criminal justice reform. He wants to go to the White House. He said we're not going because we disagree. I have got a weight responsibility. Oh, responsibility for that. And I because not getting away with it now. I'm a little upset that because he did it to the Warriors, now he's doing it to the Eagles. He'll do the Warriors. He's going to do so people visiting the White House. I mean, you know, the two teams he did it this year, Astros. I mean, and Trey wrong, but I think those were the only two teams that visited the White House. And James eloquently pointed out today,
the New England Patriots.
He didn't send the invite. No, that invite. I don't believe they did. And you know, I can't with this man, with the pen, man, and he's basically eroding something that's been a tradition since the years of Reagan, probably even longer than that. So yeah, I you know, we let him get away with it, and this is the results. And I'm making a promise that I will no longer let this man get away with disinviting teams because his fragile ego can't handle it. You know, if it was enough, if Obama had to do it where some people wouldn't go see him, but it still was a majority of the team, you have to do it. You have to bear through it too. All presidents go through this. This is nothing new. Go ahead, Matt.
Y'all knew. You knew this was gonna happen. You knew this was gonna happen. You knew that it. Let's back up. Remember when the NFL pretty much became little girls and caved in instead of being big little boys, they became big men, became little boys and succumbed to President Dotard's request of pretty much paying loyalty. Now, I'm not surprised, but I'm not surprised or shocked about this because, again, when you don't cave to the loyalty of King Stupid, King 45, um, on the Fuhrer, okay, you get this. You knew this. There's no shock, you know. And what's missed is countless players who they're not kneeling just for the sake of kneeling and everything else. You know, they're not disrespecting the flag just for the sake of disrespecting the flag. In fact, they're not disrespecting the flag at all. They are exercising first um, the First Amendment right to speak on various issues that concern them. Now, I did watch Michael Jenkins have his his interviews, with the media during after practice. He didn't say anything. He just posted up cue cards, posting facts and everything. You know, now, and you know what? And reminding the media, y'all know, Colin gave $1 million to charities for his causes. He's not, he's not just, talking the talk, but he's also walking the walk. And I think he gets lost. People want to look at, the fact that you're not being a patriot. Like, don't forget, being a patriot does not mean making patriotism as God. That's the problem. Excuse me. Patriotism is not. We cannot make patriotism God. That's not. And last time I checked, it's not idolatry. I'm on the spiritual side of things, but that's idolatry. You know, you're making the American symbol, a flag, a god. And President Trump. Oh, let me back up. President Orangutan, okay, doesn't get the fact that in this country you're allowed to agree to disagree. It's what makes this place great. That's what makes America America. You can speak your mind and no one to bat an eye. You can disagree and that's okay, but through your disagreements, you can learn something. Through disagreements, you can learn from a different perspective that you may have missed. I've been guilty of that myself. It's like coming to arguments like, oh man, you talking about that. Talk about that. Thought about it more deeply. Like, you know what? No one may disagree with your point. You have a very valid point, but go as far as being a 5-year-old. Basically, that's what it really is. This is saying like, you know what? Well, if you don't, I'm not inviting you to my party because you don't do the flag thing. That's petty. You basically basically what the people that voted for this man did was vote for a 5-year-old. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're working with. And yes, there has been athletes who declined for whatever reason to various reasons, and you know what? That's their right. That is their right. Baseball, the Astros, they have gone down, but notice there was some undertones there too. So to disinvite the Eagles on the strength of you know on the strength of gosh darn it, maybe scheduling or whatever have you, to disinvite them just for petty reasons. This is why we need to go. This is why we need to chill. Yeah, I remember when the Phillies won the World Series in 09, they had to postpone their visit because Harry Kalas passed away. God bless his, God rest his soul. But other than that, come on, man. We have better things to worry about than the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, by the way, Fox News spent that too, but I'm not gonna get into that too because my blood will boil in 30 minutes.
Go ahead, Trey.
I mean, Matt said it, and you said it. I mean, we really, I'm not surprised that that the Eagles, as a team didn't go, and I'm not surprised. I'm even more unsurprised at the fact that Trump again rescinded an invitation. And we had the same thing last year, with the Warriors. I mean, he rescinded an invitation, but the Warriors weren't even planning on going. And we knew that most of the Eagles, or a good chunk of the Eagles, weren't planning on going anyway. So he's really not even uninviting anybody. And I've said this before, the idea of going to the White House, I think is kind of, I mean, I understand it, but at the same time, it is not that important, right? Like Trump is, and we know he's petty, right? And people have called him, he's a child, he's a baby, that type of thing, whatever. But we know for one thing that he's very petty, right? Trump is taking it personally, and in some ways he should, that people aren't coming to the White House, but at the same time, the idea of going to the White House, it's not important at all whatsoever to, the National Football League or the NBA. It's not important whatsoever. And I think I said this maybe 2 weeks ago, and I mentioned, for example, Barack Obama. To me, it only really makes the most sense for a team to be invited to the White House or to request that they come to the White House is in a situation where you have a president who is a fan of a particular team that won, some championship. So with Barack Obama, let's say if the Bears were to have won a championship at some point while he was president, it would make sense for the Bear because he's a Chicago fan. It would make sense, or the Bulls won a championship. It would make sense, right? So I don't know what team Trump, cares about, but I imagine it's probably the Giants, huh?
He's a Patriots fan. Tom
Patriots fan.
Brady's
Okay,
his best
whatever.
friend.
Well, I know you're right. So I mean, and you saw the same thing with the Patriots. The Patriots went to the White House, right? Now there was a few players that didn't go, but the team, as a team, the majority of the players were there, right? So I mean, and that makes sense because Trump likes the Patriots and he has a good relationship with Tom Brady, right? So, I've never understood in the first place why teams go to the White House. I don't know. Colin, you kind of mentioned when it kind of started, but to me, it doesn't make sense. I think as a country, we're becoming as a country, a lot of people have this nationalistic view of things, and it's dangerous because what happens is politics and individual ideologies get put before human beings. I may disagree with certain, I may disagree with a lot of far right conservative views, or I might agree with them, or I might disagree with some far left liberal views, right? But we've got to be able to get past that as a country and realize, okay, we're all human beings, right? And I think a lot of this is it's pettiness, it's politics, and to me, it's really stupid because and Colin, you mentioned this last week about the idea of nationalism. Like we've come to a point in society where you know it, this we're Americans, right? And and so people have kind of and many people, I mean, and this is exactly what white nationalism is the idea that they don't like the idea of race mixing. They believe that white they're white supremacists essentially. Um, and as far as I could go on about this for days, but the point is that, in my opinion, the whole idea of visiting the White House is stupid in the first place, and it shouldn't be it shouldn't be this like huge big deal that a team decided not to go to the White House because they they disagree with something he said or policies that he was to put in place, or they just don't like him as a person. It shouldn't be that big of a deal because the White House is in no way, shape, or form associated with the NFL. And like I said, the only way that it's even a question is if that particular president is a fan of a team that won. And we're talking about the NFL, so if if Trump was from Philly and was an Eagles fan, then it would kind of make sense for them to go to the White House, right, and be able to celebrate with the president because he's an Eagles fan, not because he's the president. And to summarize what I'm saying, Trump is being petty, and his supporters, those on the right, are also following suit and being petty about something that's extremely unimportant. And it really doesn't matter whether people went to the White House after they won the championship when Obama was president or not. People seemed to like Obama. He had this charisma about himself, so people wanted to meet him. Right? They thought it would be cool. Right? He's a more charismatic guy, and Trump is not. To be honest. But if I decide, if a team or certain or players decide that they don't want to go to the White House, why? Like the idea of an invitation is, I'm offering you an invitation for whatever reason. You did something, you've done something good. You've warranted something you've done has warranted me inviting you. Like when you have a party, let's say a graduation party. If I'm inviting you to my graduation party, you've done something. You've done something important, or something. You've been a valuable part of my life. So I'm inviting you to my graduation to help me celebrate, right? With winning a national championship, the president just invites because it's been a tradition for years. There's no other reason why Trump would invite, why the White House would invite, a team who's just won a championship. But that is tradition. Unless, of course, like I said, the particular team, the president or, they're a fan of that particular team. And Trump is being extremely petty in the idea that because, like I said, it's an invitation. when when you extend an invitation to somebody and they say, "Well, I can't come," or "I'm not coming." I mean, if I invited somebody to a party and they said I can't come, or I can't, I don't want to come, I'm not taking it personally. And even if it is like where it's the person, the person doesn't like me or whatever the case may be, or they have some type of issue, forget about it. It's not important. It's not a big deal that some $1 million athletes decided that they didn't want to come to the White House.
All right. Go ahead, Amina. I'm sorry.
I gotta agree with what Matt said about how this country is turned into a situation of idolatry concerning the U.S. flag and what it so-called represents. And I say so-called in its entirety because when you look at the history of the meaning of the flag, it has no good meaning. Like how the flag started, the history of this country, none of it is good. So I don't even know why people are patriotic towards it anyway, but I'll let them be great. But as Matt said, it's turned into an idolatry situation where people have at this point got to the situation where they worship the flag rather than, just standing at attention when some song or anthem is being said. And it's ridiculous. Like, Donald Trump is literally telling people during his presidency that you either are going to bow down to this flag or I don't want nothing to do with you. And that's not how we work here. That's not how we do. We don't do that. This is not how it works. For at least the past 50 odd years, every U.S. president since, to my knowledge, has invited the championship teams of the NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL to the White House for congratulations, sit down, they talk about situations that are important to them, have a little meal or refreshments, and just to acknowledge the team. It's not so much, it wasn't up until this point, it had nothing to do with politics. It had to do with just congratulating the team on a national level to acknowledge their accomplishment and let it be done. It don't even last the whole day. It's only a few hours. They sit, talk, take some pictures, and then go home. I don't see the situation. But because society has shifted so much over the years as far as ideologies and personal sentiments, everyone doesn't feel the same way about politics, um, social activism. So this is what happens. And you also can't disinvite, in air quotes, someone or a group of people to something they was not going to come to from the jump. That's not how it works. Like what he said about whoever was going to win the NBA Finals this year. He said they're not going to be invited. Well, neither team said they were coming before you even said anything. So technically, your disinvite is no disinvite at all. If you want to be honest about it. And I personally feel that whether Donald Trump is a one-term president or a two-term president, we'll find that out in 2020. I don't think that any NFL or NBA team is going to the White House between now and whenever he's no longer in the White House. He's setting up this culture where they don't want to go. They're telling him before he disinvites them. So it's like a sign, whatever. Only team I see visiting him of the NFL, the Cowboys and the Patriots at this point, and none from the NBA. That's for sure. I don't know about hockey or baseball. I don't know how their individual teams feel, but hey, that's what that is. But and for him to tell the Eagles that you're disinvited the day before they were supposed to, I think it was the day before or 2 days before they were supposed to actually go. So it was like, yo, this was he's that crazy. Mm, mm. I don't think well, they already said that it was no more than 8 or 10 people going anyway. So that showed me that the whole team, basically, an organization, wasn't thrilled. And as far as him disinviting my Warriors, it's okay. Just like last year, we told you before the fact that we were not coming, and you did what you did last year. You disinvited us after we told you we're not coming. And it's funny. Just keep making me laugh every year. Like, what you gonna do next? We are like the team visited the White House, and Obama was in the White House in 2015. They're good. This clown, this is some of y'all's president, though. Y'all voted for him.
All right. So we're gonna divvy it up. Colin Curveball. We're gonna divvy it up. The last couple of questions because they're very 45 related, and we're gonna save those Colin Kaepernick and 45 questions for later. In the meantime, we're gonna let Matt. Well, actually, we can all react to this if you watch hockey, but let's all react to the Capitals winning their first Stanley Cup. I'll start. You know what? Uh, Usually, and then our crossover sports messenger on Facebook, I talked about this where I'm happy for the Caps, but like I said earlier, Matt's gonna get upset at me, and so will Tristiania, but I don't really care. Screw DC all the time. Don't matter. They represent any team that represents DC. Little East Coast bias there, but I'm happy for the Capitals. Like I said, my man Ovi, Alex Ovechkin, for going this far. As Matt pointed there, he's been in the league a long time, and the fact that he overcame Sidney Crosby and the Penguins, and Marc Andre Fleury, only for the Las Vegas Knights. Yes, Matt, I do know hockey. Yeah, just that fact alone, man. I'm behind it, man. The fact got this far. I know I'm gonna surprise a lot of you because we don't usually talk about hockey on this podcast, but yet I know who all these players are. I know that's a surprise. But anyway, we have talked to I'm happy for them. Like I said, you got to be happy for any team that wins their first. I mean, the Eagles won their first, so I'm happy for the Capitals, but still, screw DC. But I'm happy for them, and we'll see if they go to the White House. They probably will, but I'm happy for them and the city of DC. You got your first title. Happy for you, and at least it's not the Deadskins. So, like I said on our private chat, I'm happy as long as it's not the Deadskins. So, all right, go ahead, Matt.
Or the Nationals, for that matter. I I put it on Facebook. I said that the NBA Finals was no, the Stanley Cup Final was better than the NBA because Alex Ovechkin was a man on a mission, and the way he played that game was he let his teammates do the talking for him. Now, look, you gotta give credit to not only Marc Andre Fleury but Braden Holtby, yo. I mean, goaltending was superb. Goaltending was superb. Power play, the for the for the Caps, both the both the power play and the penalty kill was very good. So, in basically, like I said, they won. I think they won. They did lose game one to Vegas, and then turn around and they rattle off 4 straight. Like, but it wasn't like okay they rattled off and blew everybody out. But it was a close 4 games between 5 games. Actually, the whole entire series. So what makes me what I took away from the series was the fact that the penalty kill for the Cap, B the goaltending. In fact, Vegas had more chances to take Game 5. I mean, you talk about the the puck. Look, that puck hit. I've never seen the puck hit the crossbar so many times in one game. I've never seen it before. But Vegas had the opportunity to take Game 5, but the Caps answered back, and I mean, like I said, like Kyle was saying, it's true. It is the Caps' first Stanley Cup. Their names will be engraved on that thing. And for Ovechkin to be out of the conversations, Marino, Barkley, Ted Williams, John Stockton, all those men who made it to their respective championship and did not win it, he's off that list. Yeah, that's all. As a Flyers fan, okay, yeah, great, Ryan, wonderful, but screw you anyway. But hats off. Look, you got to give props to the champs. Hats off to the Cats. They've done a great job. They've done an excellent job.
Matt. I saw you post that on the sports room. I knew you thought I'd let you get away with it. Not gonna let, not gonna let you get away with it. I have to tell you that, I vehemently disagree with you. You know I do. But just based on story so far in the 3 championship games, well, 4 that we have witnessed, I'm going to say that the Super Bowl was better than all of them, just based on the story perspective.
I'll give you
And,
that.
and the better story was the Eagles. And I would argue that the Eagles, of all the teams that made it to the title, the Villanova Wildcats, the Eagles, the Patriots, who did Villanova play? Michigan, the Capitals, Las Vegas Knights, the Cavaliers. I would say the Eagles, to me, had the hardest road to getting to the Super Bowl. They had the better story. And this is not a biased pick. I know some people are going to be like, but you're biased, you're an Eagles fan, blah, 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 whatever. But story perspective and objectively, I feel like the Super Bowl was better, followed by um, the NBA Finals because I always enjoy part fours, and we're going to
I got look. I
then the
will
state.
give you that Super Bowl. I will give you the Super. I will give you that. I will give you the NCAA. I'll give you that one. What I will not give you is the NBA Finals, and here's why. You you knew full and darn well for the entire NBA postseason it was entertaining until we got to the finals. It was entertaining throughout. It made me want to watch. Okay, I mean, believe it or not, the Western/Eastern Conference Finals was better than this slot. It's the fact that, and we'll talk about this later, that literally LeBron, like the Cavaliers gave up. With that being said, look, watching games 4 and 5 of the watching games 4 and 5 of the Stanley Cup Final was literally more entertaining. It was more entertaining. It really was entertaining. In fact, Game 4, first period, was the fastest first period I've ever seen in Game 1. I mean, in the Stanley Cup, excuse me. And like that game could have gone. Each game could have gone either way. The fact that the Vegas Golden Knights, who, oh by the way, that is their first year of existence,
their first year.
the first year of existence, to get there, get to the playoffs is one thing, but to get to the Stanley Cup Final, that's something else. With a top-notch goalie, okay, who was a Penguin, and if you watch Follow the Flyers, you know how good he is, and to face the Caps, you know, Ovechkin, Holtby and them guys. Come on now. That had more of a storyline than the. It's not just a storyline. Game for game, it was like it could have gone either way. Game for game, it could have gone either way. Don't come to me and tell me this bona fide BS that the NBA Finals was better. No, I'm sorry. To me, when I watch a championship game, it should be a heavyweight fight. The Super Bowl 52 was a heavyweight fight. Michigan versus Villanova was kind of sort of a heavyweight fight, but it was a good one nonetheless. The Stanley Cup final was a heavyweight fight. This NBA Finals thing, they laid. I'm sorry. After game one, they laid down. I'm sorry. I'm not. Don't sit here and give the NBA a pass. Not buying it.
Look, man, I'm not giving the NBA a pass. All I'm saying is, listen, there are things that the NBA doesn't account for, as you know, in all sports. You could not account for the fact that J.R. Smith and them would give up on LeBron, and even LeBron would give up. You can't account for that. Now, I will argue that the most obvious sport where it's obvious that people give up is basketball, because we see it. And football is a little bit harder to tell. And hockey is a lot harder to tell. And baseball, I believe it's even more. I believe it's even easier to tell in baseball than in basketball.
It's obvious.
Hold up. See the Baltimore Orioles. Go ahead.
Look, in baseball, it's obvious. It's really obvious. I mean, you can tell who's taking the playoffs. And I mean, you can look at back in the day, Bobby Brady. I mean, I have never seen a right fielder take so many plays off every game. I've never seen it, and it pisses me off. I never there's been times where J-Roll got called out for not legging it out to first base. Manny Ramirez. There are instances where big players in baseball have taken plays off, literally. But in NBA, taking plays off. I mean, the whole team didn't show up, So I'm not. But the NHL, the one thing about the NHL is you're fighting for the right to have your name engraved on the biggest trophy in sports, the most coveted trophy in sports, one of the most revered trophies in sports. I mean, that Stanley Cup has more tradition than the Commissioner's Trophy, the O'Brien Trophy, and the Lombardi Trophy put together. That's the Stanley Cup. You won't know how many stories that cup has. If that cup could talk, it could tell you so many stories that cup has gone through. I mean, you have the fact that you have one or two caretakers surrounding that cup in the Hockey Hall of Fame every day. Every day. What?
We know, Matt. It's the most expensive cup in there. The longest cup. We know. Well, we understand. Nobody's. Well, I'm sorry to cut you off on your diatribe on the history of the Stanley Cup. We understand. Listen, nobody. We understand the tradition of the hockey cup. But go ahead. Go ahead on.
But yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm just saying that cup has a lot of tradition, and it should be respected in sports. And unfortunately, the Facebook group and do not understand the fact of how regal that cup really is. I mean, you talk about the O'Brien Trophy all you want, but the fact that people literally shed blood, punch people in the face just to get to that cup. You're not gonna take a play off or a game off just for the Stanley Cup. That's not gonna work because literally you're playing for not just a ring or a presidential business. You're playing for hockey immortality. Your name engraved in that cup. That's something no one can never taken away from you except two people whose name on the cup has been X out literally. It is like 5 grammatical errors. But still, your name is on that cup forever.
All right, Amina, you got anything to say on this?
Uh-uh.
All right.
Or
All right, man.
perhaps when you could have watched it in the first place, you was too busy worried about your damn Warriors, when you could have watched this great thing called the Stanley Cup Final. You need to
You,
learn your sports with me.
What? Huh? Huh?
oh Lord, don't do it, Matt. Don't do it. Let's be the calm. We gonna get to it? Don't do it. Matt, go ahead and go around the diamond. And the biggest question around the diamond. Every time Matt says something nice about the Phillies, they wind up going on a losing streak. We'll see if he does it again. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, look. Their job is to play the games, not me. Okay, if I was playing for the Phillies, whole different story. But I'm not down the Scissors Bay part route getting smashed around last night and all this stuff. Look, I got nothing to do with that. Not a thing. But
I
anyway,
think Matt's bit mad.
anywho, I got two teams for you to watch right now. Two teams to watch for. Two. Ready? Get ready for this one. The Seattle Mariners. That Seattle Mariners, and all of a sudden now the Dodgers or making some noise. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Mariners. Even though Houston is still top dog in the baseball right now, the Mariners are making noise. I can't think right now. I'll admit I haven't paid full attention to the American League like I want to, but here's the deal. The Seattle Mariners are right now in first place behind the Houston Astros by a game. And even though we're in June now, we are in June. You still cannot win a World Series between the months of April and June. So I did back off. I did back off on some predictions right now. So because you can have Fool's Gold in April, May, early June, and then by the time it gets to September, you're screwed. And I'm sorry, Colin. I'm sorry to tell you, but the Washington Nationals right now are tied for first place behind Atlanta. Holy shit.
You know the rule about mentioning DC teams on this podcast unless we have to.
But hear me out. Hear me out. It does not mean the Phillies are out of it. Unlike Baltimore, where they're at like 1943, you're out. Look, the NFC, the National League is a very tight division right now. And don't forget, baseball, 5 teams now can get in. Of the 5, 2 or wild card teams. They have to fight that sucker out for a 1-game playoff. So this division is still up for grabs. Do not count the Phillies out, although they're not doing well right now as we speak. But they also count the injury bug. Okay, Reese Hoskins just got off the DL, but Dylan Cousins is on. And also I'll admit to this. Look, this is a 102 game record. You could be in third place now, but I would rather with third place with 3 games out. 3 games out of first place. I would rather be 3 games out by August, if not September, versus being 9 games out of first place. In just a So the season's far from over. And oh, by the way, the next podcast, I will bring in suggestions on who should make the All Star. Just to give you a heads up, because All Star voting just started this week, and already, I think there may be, no, in my view, not one Philly has made a case to make the All Star team on the starting side of things. So I'll give you that account next week for sure. But I'm not a fan of jinxing anyone. In fact, I don't believe in jinxing. Your job is to go out there and make the right pitches and make the plays. And it's not my fault that the Phillies right now aren't hitting. They're not hitting right now. That's what it is. So it's not my fault. It really is not. So don't Colin, don't blame me for nothing. It ain't my fault. Say it.
All right, so moving right along to our next question. All right, so guys, your reaction to Carson Wentz being ahead of schedule. For those of you that don't know, the Eagles, this is their last week of voluntary OTAs, and so they will be. And then on Wednesday, the moment Matt and I have been waiting for all our lives, the Eagles will get their Super Bowl rings on Wednesday. But this is not about that right now. This right now is about video has come out of Carson Wentz doing 12 on 12s, participating in drills, moving around like he never injured that leg, moving around without a brace. So, and it's come out that he is way ahead of schedule, and now he has gone from a probable starter to week one to basically a full-time, basically a definite to doubtful, a probable. He's gone to basically Andre Iguodala status now for Game 3 of the finals. It was basically like it was a foregone conclusion. So basically now it's literally a four.
Why did you use that? Why?
Sorry, that he would be a foregone, it's literally a foregone conclusion by most people. It has not been confirmed yet. Let me stop all the excited Eagles fans that will listen to this now or listen to it later. This is not a foregone conclusion. This is just full speculation on my part and the part of a lot of media personalities. But it looks like he might be ready. So, Matt, your reaction to the videos of him practicing and him being ahead of schedule. Go ahead.
That's great that he's ahead of schedule. It's wonderful that he's ahead of schedule. But still, you must play this like as if he's not playing week one. Look, you must take this seriously. This is nothing to play with. This is your long-term investment that is Carson Wentz. This is your franchise quarterback. I would not, honestly, take look at it. Look, I'm thinking that for winning so much. Let's see when training camp starts how well that can hold up. Okay, I understand everybody's excited about Carson Wentz moving around doing this thing, but honestly, this is my take on this. That's why it's called crossover. Hot take. Yeah, hot take. I think he may be ready by week one, barring setbacks. As of right now, Nick Foles is the starting quarterback for week one unless otherwise, due to the fact of a knee injury, which I'll admit, you don't want to re-injure. You must take this precious cargo and make sure, double, triple, quadruple check that this knee can hold up the rigors of the NFL game. That's why we have preseason games. until I watch the preseason game. I think, you know what? He's fine. He looks good. He looks ready to go. Nick Foles is still the number one right now. Is the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles until otherwise. Until he can take a beating. Until that leg said, he said, you know what? I'm good. Put me in. Nick Foles is still the quarterback.
All right, let's go to somebody who has experience and hoping their young quarterback comes back strong from a knee injury. Amina, tell us about it. What do you think?
Yeah, we want to hear this
Um, for Carson Wentz, are we still on that question, or have we moved on to another question?
Now we're on the Carson Wentz being ahead of schedule. Tell us your thoughts.
I think you just need to take it easy. I mean, like, don't be sure he's ahead of schedule, but based on what I've seen over the years with players that have his injury, they either do it again or they don't play like they once did. So I just want to take it easy. Go out there, have fun, enjoy. It's your job, I understand, but don't stress it. Take it one day at a time, and he's young, so he can bounce back. But your health is the most important thing. But we'll see whether he's a starter for game one. But it's good that he's ahead of schedule, though. He's obviously has good medical staff with him as far as his primary care physician and his physical therapist. They have to be top grade. It also shows the advance of medicine because back in the old days in the NFL, when it was a blood sport, people that have his injury, their career was done. Like, it was a career-ending injury. But now players come back from it within a year and they be all right. So shows the advancement of sports medicine. That's a good thing too. But I see him out there on the field participating. I've seen a few clips of their practice games, and he seems to be getting back there. Not 100%, but he's getting back.
All right, so my turn. Let me just say this, right? I was an advocate for caution, and I'm still an advocate for caution. Let me just say I've gone from being 79 to 80% sure that the Eagles should just rest him and not let him play to saying, you know what? If he's ready, I'm going the Matt side of the argument from a couple weeks ago. If he's ready, let him play. If he's not, don't play him. I'm straddling the fence here, but I'm pro since I've seen the video. And like Matt said, I need to see a couple training camp drills and maybe one or two, maybe one preseason game. But if he can make it through all that and make it through training camp, I am pro play him in week one. If not, let Nick Foles start. But if he can do all that, and I'm very impressed he's ahead of the schedule, that's that God power and that technology. That's somebody that has suffered. One of the few people on this podcast actually suffer an injury similar to that. Never a knee injury, but I did injure my leg, so I can talk about this from how long it takes you to get back as an athlete. Somebody with athletic prowess to get back. It usually takes you about. I didn't injure my ACL, but I did break my femur. It took me about 6 months for real. After surgery to really fully get back. And after you rehab, after you do PT and everything. So he's at. Let's see. He had the surgery in December, and it's June now. He's at about the 5 to 6 month, and Matt can correct me if I'm wrong. I think he might be at his 5th or 6th month right now because it's June. And so this is about the time. It took me to get back, start running again, start practicing and everything. So usually about 6 months that it takes you to fully heal from a leg or knee injury. So, he's about there. But like going along, and I can speak from experience, it takes you about a year, maybe 2, to fully trust your leg again. and as somebody who ran track and played ball, you really do need your leg. And he definitely needs his leg more because he's the quarterback. He's a right-handed quarterback, and he injured his right, I believe his right leg, right? Or was it his left? Matt, what leg was it? What knee was it? Uh, Somebody tell me what knee it was. I believe it was his right knee. So if it's his right knee, he needs that. That's the knee he pulls off of to throw the ball. So it'll definitely take him some time for real, for real. Probably won't fully be back until next year. Probably be able to play because 80 to 90% healthy Carson Wentz is better than most healthy quarterbacks in the league. So I'm all for that. But I'm just gonna caution y'all that as somebody who's had experience with this type of like I said, not a knee injury but a leg injury, it literally takes you maybe a full year and a half to fully get back. Let me just say that. And I'm very happy for him. I want him to do well, like I said, and as I told Matt the last time we talked about Carson Wentz, I don't want to write a story saying, Carson Wentz came back too early, hurt himself again, now he can't play. So I advise caution, but like I said, these videos have encouraged me. I'm back 90 to 89 to 90% now. Let him play if he's ready. That's what I will say. Matt or Amina, any of y'all Google what knee he hurt to make sure I'm accurate? Was it his left or his right knee? Anybody do that yet? Anyway, moving right along then. Are the Eagles, based on everything that's gone on, guys, do you believe the Eagles are even more united than before? Go ahead.
Did you say me or him?
You.
Oh, okay. I believe they are more united. Well, the Eagles have always been a united franchise in their history. They've always had unity. They've always moved out on things together. But for the last, since Doug Peterson took over as coach, I would say it's more apparent. They have a roster of believers in faith in God, so they all pray together. I see they all do charity work together. They all do things in the community together. They all speak up for one another when things are going on that's not good. And it just shows what other teams in the NFL need to incorporate into their team, and maybe they might have the same results as the Eagles have had this past season. So I truly believe they are united, and they support each other's um, business ventures and dreams outside of football too. They all come together to help each other any way they can. I see nothing wrong with it, and I give them kudos because not a whole lot of sports teams don't support one another as far as outside of the game. They just play the game and they go home. But Eagles, they have truly formed their own little family, and I don't know how long they'll be all together. But for the time being, they're showing that they actually care genuinely about one another, and it's a great thing. Shows team spirit, unity, and it gets their fan base going when games are happening. Uh, I think they're united.
All right, Matt. Do you think they're more united than before? Go ahead.
This is what happens when you piss off a fan base. This is what happens when you really give the Eagles more bulletin board power. Remember the song Jason Kelsey sung on the parade? We're from Philly, epic Philly, no one likes us and we don't care. The fact that I really find this funny. President, the leader of the free tanning world, has pretty much told them, "You're not coming over to my White House because You don't stand for the national anthem. You kneeling. You're this, that, that. Look. Aside from that, and the way Howie Roseman took the team and said, "We're not done yet. I'm gonna go ahead and just reload the gun, and we're gonna go for it again." It shows the fact that they're not settled for just one Super Bowl title, one Super Bowl ring. They made it. They made it emphatically clear that they are there for the long haul. They are there to see to it that we are. Look, we want to win it again. We know how it tastes. We know how it feels, and I'm here to tell you, we want another one. So I believe they pretty much are going back all in again, and this team, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. The Eagles head coach pretty much said, "Look, we're gonna go for it again. We're not done yet." So you got this team all in, bought in to the fact that, look, we cannot be satisfied. We're gonna go for it again. It's the target on our backs. We must be ready. And I'll be the first person to tell you, bring it, because I believe this team is ready to go for it again. I believe this team is going to really show out, really on the fact of, like, you know what, we're good. We're gonna do our thing. They're gonna get their leader back. Everybody's coming back healthy. Darren Sproles pretty much told him, "Look, I can't go out like that. I'm gonna go for it again. This is gonna be a kickers battle between Jake Gilly and Caleb Sturgeon." You know what? As much as the President Dotard has pissed me off, I'll admit, I gotta have football. I gotta have football. I gotta have football. And I can't wait for the Eagles to really do this thing again. And oh, by the way, that could suck. It's sticking to these Cowboys fans down here. Let them know, like, you know what? The Eagles are still king.
Let me just say this, and I wholeheartedly agree with Matt and Amina. The Eagles, man, they were already united based off the stories and the underdog, everybody going against them. Nobody outside Philadelphia thought they would get that far. Nobody outside Philadelphia thought that they would beat the Patriots and avenge Donovan McNabb and the rest of the Eagles lost from 14 years ago. And I am so proud of my Eagles. I've never and now I'm even more proud because my Eagles are standing up to somebody that is the antithesis of this country, right? And the fact of the matter is, you know what? I'm so happy for my Eagles. I'm happy that they stood up to this man. I'm happy that they will continue to stand up for this man. And you know what? I already said that they were going back to the Super Bowl, but now I'm ready to fully say that on this day, 2:40 Eastern Standard Time, on June 9, 2018, at 2:41 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm ready to say the Eagles will repeat as Super Bowl champs. I'm doing it, Matt. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it, man. I'm sorry. I'm doing it. They're going to go to the Super Bowl, and not only are they going to the Super Bowl, but they're going to win, and it'll come down. These are the teams. It'll either be a PA Super Bowl, the Steelers versus the Eagles, or there'll be a repeat Super Bowl, because y'all know how y'all love repeats, Patriots and Eagles, or my dark horse, and this is going to make me the happy, my dark horse, John Gruden's Raiders, go to the Super Bowl.
You're telling me you're going to repeat Super Bowl 15? What's wrong with you? You going to repeat Super Bowl 15? Have you lost your mind?
Listen, Matt. I'm all in. You know,
I'm sorry. I do not see the Oakland Raiders going past this AFC Championship game. I'm sorry. I don't see it.
Stop doubting my team. Don't be like that bronzexual we know.
No. Look, for Chucky's case, I mean, Chucky belongs to the Raiders in the first place, and Alex Davis did Chucky wrong. But you have to admit, you have to admit, I that wide receiver. I mean, we got back with Patrick. Look, I'm not sold on the Raiders yet. I'm sorry, I'm just not sold. I mean, I'm sold on Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I'm not sold on the Raiders.
Matt. That's why I said dark horse. I said my dark horse pick. It's going to either be the Steelers or the Patriots versus the Eagles.
1981.
Now, even you don't disagree with the first two picks. You just disagree with the Raiders. That's all. But you know it's either going to be the Steelers, or the Patriots. That's why I said the Raiders are my dark horse. You know,
27-10.
they're the dark horse. But either way, the result is still going to be the same. My Eagles will either beat the state rivals in Pittsburgh, beat Boston again, or they'll avenge the loss a couple in from the '80s to her Raiders. One way or another, the Eagles will be avenging something. One way or another. So, like I said, the Patriots. The Patriots.
Let's go, Derek. Let's go.
I think the Eagles are more united than ever. I'm sorry, I got a little caught up. Matt knows I get caught up sometimes. I forgot. The Eagles are more united than ever, and they're going to win. And they're going to win. They're going to go to this year's Super Bowl and possibly win. All right. All right, guys. So moving right along. Who do you want the 76ers to hire as their GM slash president of basketball operations? Because it doesn't seem like the GM role exists anymore. So, president of basketball operations, Pobo. Let me start. I think that they should hire David Griffin because I think that we are beyond the rebuild phase. We are in full on possible dynasty mode. And so now we need somebody who can build a dynasty, build the team to last. And I think David Griffin is our man. Go ahead, Matt. Matt, you there?
I had a but look. Um, even though Sam Hinkie is with the Cleveland Browns, right? And we
Denver Broncos.
oh yeah, that's right, sorry, the Denver Broncos. There was somebody orange. You know, I'm really.
Hey, watch what you say about Orange now.
I mean, you got President Orange Man over there, so what else is new? Look.
Listen, watch. You already know what you say about the color orange, man.
Oh, Mister, I go to Syracuse. I gotta take Dan Gilbert. Because I mean that's my only
Please don't fight.
We're not fighting. I don't care about the Broncos. I'm just saying what you say about the color orange. He can diss
No
the
one likes
Broncos.
the Broncos. No one
No
likes the Broncos.
one likes the Broncos. He can diss the Broncos. He said some team wearing orange. I just that's what I got offended about. Fake offended about. Go ahead, man.
yeah or whatever. Look, I'm gonna say that's right now Dan Gilbert because you know what this man has built me, and you want someone. And that's all I have at the moment. But my thing, if you I need to make a GM that can make shrewd moves for the lottery. Like let's get your butt back in the lottery without tanking, and literally making the team better and maintaining. Keyword maintaining the process.
Amina, go ahead.
I gotta agree with what Colin said about David Griffin. I agree that he should be the next. I guess whatever they want to call it, because I don't think they really use general manager per se anymore. Um, Great choice. He helped the Cavs get to where they are now when he was part of their organization. Got LeBron James back to the city, and if that's even more signs that David Griffin does come to Philadelphia, that LBJ is coming to be a Sixers, I don't know what. But I believe that David Griffin has the resume and the reputation to do what's required to maintain this young Sixers team at that. And to get them further, they're not a rebuild team anymore. They're not in that phase anymore, as Kevin said. They're in a we need to get beyond the second round of the playoffs mode. So to continue building that, they need someone with experience, the resume, reputation that can do that. And I believe that David Griffin has it in him. I don't see anybody else. So go after David Griffin.
All right, guys. So now we're off to Amina's favorite part of this. So let's talk about the finals. So, all right, y'all. Matt, just we'll stick to the script and then we'll get to the finals. Will this be LeBron's last game, or was this LeBron's last game in the Eastern Conference? Do you believe he's going to go to the Lakers? Like most people were telling me today. Go ahead, Matt.
All right, let's back up. First of all, if I understand correctly, LeBron James can opt out of his contract. He has basically one more year left. He can opt out to it if and when he does. My question is, what will the Lakers? Why? First of all, let's start this. Why Lakers? Why Lakers? Why Lakers? I mean, you have better things to worry about than the Lakers. I mean that team's a shambles. That team's a wreck. And you want to tell me LeBron James is going to magically resurrect the Lakers? Just for marquee purposes, great. But to actually take the Lakers back to prominence at the age of 34, no. So that's not the question. Number two, you can resign with Cleveland. End your career, massively end your career in Cleveland, and just right on the sunset for the rest of your day. You can do that, or you can come to Philadelphia. And you have a team set. You have a team set. All it needs is you fill in, do what you do, play. Everybody can rally around you, run a few things, whatever, and possibly beat Golden State for the NBA Finals. And Philadelphia will have another parade down Broad Street, which I'll be happy to go. Very happy to go. That's or you go back to Miami, or I think it was another team. I can't think what it was. But the question is, who needs LeBron James? Lakers do, Sixers don't. Celtics, Miami, maybe. But as far as that, or even Cleveland. So my thing is simply this: the Sixers don't need LeBron. We'll like to have LeBron, but we don't need him. If you're going to sign him, you must trade Robert Covington. You must. I mean, as much as I like his defensive play and everything else.
Yes, trade that man. Trade that man. Trade that man. Go ahead, Matt. Trade that man.
If you can clear space by training him and do some signing trades and everything, I would look by all means do so. Do so. In fact, if you can't get this man, re-sign JJ Redick. Re-sign him. I mean, really, that man, not just sometimes when he starts or coming up, that man can provide a spark for the Sixers. However, if the Sixers will resign, going to sign LeBron, you must trade Robert Covington and Amir Johnson.
All right, I'm jumping the line. Amina, I know is gonna have a lot to say about LeBron James, but let me
I don't give a rest. Oh, by the way, he is not from the State.
listen. All right, let me just crush the dreams.
Aww.
Let
That's
me
so
just
cute.
let me just crush the dreams of you Lakers fans right now. Listen, I know y'all think that because LeBron James has a house there, and two houses, matter of fact, has his, and he shoots his show on Stars. Somebody remind me what that show is, what that show's called. It's got the girl that played Pam and Rochelle from Everybody Hates Chris in it. Matt, Amina, help me out. What's that show called? It's on Stars. I know y'all watch. I don't watch it, but I know. One of y'all know what the show's called. We can Google it right now. What's it called, Matt?
I don't know, honestly.
Oh, okay. One of y'all Google it, please, and help me out. I I'm just gonna let y'all know right now, it's not gonna happen. Because the one thing LeBron James doesn't do is he doesn't go to franchises and try to follow after a superstar, especially somebody like a Kobe Bryant who he played against. I'm gonna tell you the main reason. I told the people at my church this today. Why would he go somewhere? This is what's gonna happen, right? Why would he go to? First off, I'm gonna stop all you people that are fans of Western Conference teams. He's not coming to any Western Conference team because why would he want to go to a team and lose to Golden State even sooner? Because let me tell you what's going to happen if he goes to the Lakers. And Matt knows that the LA sports fandom and sports media is just as reckless and as rude as Philadelphia media, right? Listen,
Big baller nation on the Lakers.
they will kill him if he loses. If he loses not that he will lose in the first round, but if they let's just say what happened to him last year, this year happens next year. If he's in the first round, he's with the Lakers, and let's just say the first round goes to 7 games, right? You know what the people gonna say? Well, Kobe Bryant never had a 7-game series in the first round of the playoffs. You know what will happen in the second round if it looks like he might lose to another inferior team in the second round? Well, Kobe Bryant never got eliminated by that team. Nobody wants to be compared to Kobe Bryant, especially somebody who's played for him. Let me tell you what makes a lot more sense and is a lot more easier for LeBron James to do. Even though I've been on record saying LeBron is a want, not a need in Philadelphia, it is much easier for him to come here. Because here's what I'll say, right? I'm not, like I said, Matt and Amina know this. Me personally, I don't want him here. But Amina knows. Oh, thank you, Andre. Andre's watching. Survivor's Remorse. That's the name of the show. Okay. So, and it was canceled last year. Okay. So he can't go to the Lakers because y'all know that y'all be saying the Lakers wouldn't be eliminated. Kobe Bryant never went 7 games in the first round. Kobe Bryant never won 7 games in the second round. Kobe Bryant would never lose to this team in the Western Conference Finals. Y'all would be saying so many things like that about this man. It is much easier for this man to come here because let me just show y'all the clues that he's been dropping that he might come to Philly. They asked him who his favorite player was, who he patterned his game after. He said Allen Iverson. They asked him who his favorite football player at this time was. He said Carson Wentz. And oh my goodness, look who just happened to be in the front row last night with Zach Ertz and Jeffrey Lurie doing something at the game. I know y'all don't believe that it just so happened that, he was dropping Carson Wentz's name this year. And it just so happens who shows up at the last game at the Q this year? Carson Wentz, Jeffrey Lurie, and Zach Ertz. Now, if you believe that's just a coincidence, like some of the people at my church believe, I got some swap land in New Jersey to sell you. LeBron James has been dropping clues for the past couple years that, I like what they're doing in Philly. Maybe I'll come. It hasn't been direct, but it's been little clues like my favorite player is Allen Iverson. My favorite player right now is Carson Wentz. I like what they're doing over there. Even you could even hear glorifying the Eagles the other day. He was saying, "Oh, I don't know why he wouldn't want the Eagles there. Oh, look at what they do in the community." And again, it just so happens that Jeffrey Lurie and them just found some money to just come to Cleveland during the funeral of the Cleveland Cavaliers for no reason. They just wanted to show up and see greatness 101. They could have just seen that at home. I'm right now. Y'all can doubt me if you want. I was right about the Eagles offseason last year and most of this year. I'm telling you right now, the Eagles were recruiting him to the Sixers. Joel Embiid just so happened to tweet right after the game, "Come complete the process, LeBron." And the Eagles and the Super Bowl champions just happened to show up in Cleveland. I'm telling you right now, these rumors about him coming to Philly are a lot more real than a lot of y'all want to believe.
Oh my.
Go ahead, Amina.
Yeah, he's coming to Philly. Like it's all signs, as you said. I've said to people, look, for the past few months, him and his wife have made solo trips. Her on her own and him on his own, where they've came to Philadelphia with and without their children to visit the private schools in the city of Philadelphia. Just a few weeks ago, it was early during playoffs. He was here with his oldest son, LeBron Jr., at a private school in South Philly. They got enrollment information in a packet. If that don't tell you they coming here, why would they come all the way from Cleveland, Ohio, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for enrollment packet information for schools? And they're not coming. He's not coming here. Like, come on. Like, he's been spotted quietly going in and out of South Philly, where the Wells Fargo Center is, and he ain't even playing. He wasn't even playing the game here. South Philly residents have all confirmed sightings of him at random times throughout this past season and last season. He's been dropping hints that he likes this city for at least the past 2 years, at the least. I don't know why people keep saying, "Oh, he's going to the Lakers, he's going to the Rockets, he's going to the Celtics, he's going here." Going no, he's coming to Philadelphia. He's going to end his career here, and that's how that's going to be. I don't like. He's been dropping signs since God knows when. People don't want to see the signs today, and for the front office to be at that game last night for the final, that's like the nail in the coffin. Like, why would they just randomly show up at this crucial game for nothing? They could have stayed home and watched. Come on. But hey, he's not going to a Western Conference team. He's not doing that. His only options will be the Spurs, and that's about it. He's not going to a Western Conference team. He's staying in the East. He's coming to the Sixers, and it's going to blow people's minds because I've been telling people forever he's coming to the Sixers. All the signs are there. People should pay attention. It's subliminal hints. I mean, come on.
Matt, you want to comment on these signs? I know you like me. You don't want him here, but the signs are there. Go ahead. You want to comment on them?
Fans may not want him here, but the writing's been on the wall for at least 2 years, on and off.
Oh, hush your face. Look,
Make me.
you. All right, I will. You know full darn well when you're a free agent, a very sought after free agent, you're going to, you know, check out all the places that you're considering for, not just Philadelphia, but LA and the like. We've heard this before. This is nothing new. Okay, the only difference is this is LeBron James. Again, well, we will love that. We will love to have him. If the sign says, okay, well, he's doing this, he's visiting these places in South Philly, look, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when he signs his name on that dotted line, and he's wearing a 60 uniform, wearing whatever number he's wearing, because you can't wear 6 here. That's Doc's number. You can't wear 3 here. That's AF number. 23. Who's wearing? I don't know. probably Ilya Sola. Yeah, if he's still solid, resign with the team. The point is,
So Matt, just I'm not listen. I'm with you. I agree with you. Like we don't need him here. We both agree. But let's just. So you think that the Eagles, that Jeffrey Lurie, Carson Wentz, Zach Ertz just showing up there is just coincidence?
it's not going. Look, there's one thing. It's one thing that you just bought a ticket. You don't want to be part of the experience. That's one thing. I mean, I hope that is the case. You just want to be part of the experience, and I get it. But to go as far as a conspiracy theory, so we're there just to woo you to come to South Philly with us. I mean, we got a winning tradition here now, and an actual winning tradition. We won a Super Bowl. We won the NCAA tournament 2 out of the last 3 years. We won the World Series 10 years ago, and we're back on the map again. So, and the Flyers are always trying to chase after that cup, and then it's been what 75, 75, 85, 95, 05. It's almost 40 years since we won the cup, but they're still going after it. And so A is one of the best fan bases in sports. Why not? But you know what? At the end of the day, I will believe it when he signs on that dotted line coming to Philadelphia. There's nowhere in the world going to LA. There's no way. I mean, look at the roster, look at the talent, and plus on top of it, Lonzo, you have Lonzo's pop breathing down your neck. Oh yeah, my boy's look is better than this guy. That guy, like, I want to be part of that. So if you're a Laker fan, let's be real here. Until Lonzo's pop really shuts his mouth and doesn't say jack squat for another 3 months, it's something worth considering. But I would not go to the Lakers. I would not. Now, if you feel butthurt, you say, you know what, my pride is too big, my ego is too big, I'm staying in Cleveland because what just happened, I can't go out like that. And honestly, you should not. If I know me, if it was me, I can't go out like that. We're not opting out. Let's get one more girl in Cleveland. But it's his decision. He can do whatever he wants.
All right, and I realize I didn't answer the question. No, this will not be his last game in the Eastern Conference. All right.
Wait, I think actually that depends on the situation and what team it is too. This is why. If it's Philadelphia, oh, guaranteed the Sixers are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Guaranteed. If he's South Philadelphia. If not, we can chill on that.
All right, and to the moment that Amina has been waiting for. Amina, your reaction to the NBA Finals. Go right ahead.
Oh boy, here we go.
What'd you say over there? Now you Kylan. He knows who I'm talking about. Yo, Kylan, I first I gotta congratulate you. You were the only one of us that accurately predicted this here finals, and I'm just like, wow, you keep doing it. Kylan was the only one that predicted a four nothing sweep, so I gotta give him
Hashtag Colin was right.
yes, gotta give him his congratulations. Clap clap for Kylan. Yes, today's Kylan's day. Second, this is a finals that I will always remember for the rest of my life, as far as it being very entertaining to watch. Like, sports is supposed to be fun and entertaining. It's not supposed to be stiff neck. And this from game one when Jared Smith did what he did all the way up until last night, it was nothing but a fun fest. Like, it's crazy. This train of my guys versus the Cavaliers is done. It's over. We've cemented ourselves. 3-1 over them. It's over. It's done. It's not going to be a part five next year. The NBA better not do that to us next year for part five. We're good. It's just a beautiful feeling to be an NBA fan and live in this time. See a dynasty cemented. Like, and there's always been dynasties, and that's the next question for super teams. And this is the one that was for this time period, and it's over. It's been cemented. I'm happy for my guys. The parade is on Tuesday, so it'll be the third parade in 4 years, and they truly deserved it. They went out, did what they had to do. People all season was doubting us, especially when we got handed the second seed in the West. People doubting us late season with all those injuries we had, doubting us. All Star Weekend, people was doubting us. Playoffs, people was doubting us. Went farther than people expected. They still doubted us. Got to the finals, people still doubted us. Now look at them. They got a pretty trophy. Don't doubt my guys. Don't ever do it. And you know
Sounds
what?
like sounds like our Eagles. I'm seeing some similarities. What city
Do
did they originally come from?
do not doubt my teams. The haters out there is not
Wait,
good.
wait a minute. What city did your Warriors originally come from? Because
Philadelphia!
that journey sounds familiar. Like it's mirroring my Eagles. I mean, what city could you say that again?
Philadelphia! You need to know your NBA history because I'm tired of y'all. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say the word on. I'm not gonna say the word on this live. But people need to know their history about the NBA because they don't. They need to know the history about the Philadelphia sports teams because they don't. I'm tired of educating people that don't know shit. Mm. Guys,
Um,
get out there next year and give me another ring. Thank you.
Count, count. I'm gonna answer your question right now. That series by far was the most pathetically
It's
played
pathetic
series.
to you, Maddie, because you don't enjoy basketball like us. You are baseball and hockey. We all know that. You know that. God knows that. You wouldn't have enjoyed this anyway because you're not an avid NBA fan, which
It
is
doesn't.
obvious.
You can be an avid college sports fan for all I care. The fact of the matter was, and simply that I said this earlier when we talked about the
You
NHL
don't care about
standpoint,
nothing but the NBA unless it's the Sixers involved. We know that.
asshole. Either look, is one thing. I'll give you this: when Cleveland beat Golden State for the for the in the NBA Finals, when Cleveland beat Golden State, I admit I was pulling for Golden State, but I didn't see that series coming, and it was entertaining. This I expected Golden. I expected Cleveland to put up a fight, and they did not, except in game one. I expected Cleveland to play a lot better. They did not. Basically, games 3 and 4, but specifically, they laid down. They didn't put up a fight. And the fact that, okay, a 20-point lead in the NBA generally sometimes is not safe. It's a 50-50 thing. But the first half, at least, that game was close. But the third quarter, you knew watching that game, you knew if Golden State got off, the game was over. Everybody who watched that game, saw the game, listened to the game, went to the game, or had an inkling of the same game, knows they go off, the game is over. Your Curry goes off, the game is over. Durant goes off, the game is over. Clay goes off, the game's over. Draymond, game over. Even Iguodala, game over. Nick Young, game over. They went off, okay? And unfortunately, they did not have an answer that was a true answer. They had no answer. Tyronn Lue needs to be
fired from his job. I'm sorry. I'm like, man, you still got that image of AI walking all over you from 01.
Man, but you know the one good thing about this finals result, even though I like LeBron James, you know the one good thing about this thing? All the people all the people that love LeBron will never ever say anymore that he compares to Michael Jordan. That's the best part. That's the best part, you know it.
Yeah, I agree with you. But you have to admit the style of play was terrible. Terrible. It was like watching the play. I swear to you. The series was like me watching the basketball play. And I expect, Amina, you can agree, you know I'm right on this one. I expect a all-out dog fight. I expect a heavyweight fight when it comes down to a championship situation. You're playing for all the marbles here. You're playing for a big fat race, and you're going to tell me you sit down, lay the biggest, gigantic egg you can lay on the national stage. Come on now. That's why I have a problem with this series. I have a problem with this series from day one. You gonna tell me, well, you're not an NBA fan. I ain't been an NBA fan since the days of Jordan, since the days of the Bad Boys. I haven't been an NBA fan.
I know that, but you're more about baseball than hockey. You're not thrilled about the NBA like you are about baseball and hockey.
That's not the point. The point is you knew that the Cleveland Cavaliers laid the biggest egg possible. That pisses me off as a fan. You know better than that. That's why, look, the fact that we see Super Bowl, literally, you don't take plays off the Super Bowl. You don't take plays off the national finals. And you sure as hell don't take plays off during the World Series. You know one pick will screw everything up. But the point is to be this, man. I'm telling you right now, and you know I'm right. You know good well I'm right that the Cleveland Cavaliers laid the biggest egg they could ever lay, and that was embarrassing. 4-0. I expected to take game 3, to take the game, and then send the thing back to Golden State. But no, they gave up, and that was literally this is disappointing. The series here was an exciting series. That was subpar. And also I'm gonna say this too. You knew going into that series with that roster that Cleveland has, you knew that was a loss waiting to happen. You knew it. You had a better chance to get a better series for Golden State, Boston, than Golden State, Cleveland. You knew it. You can't deny it. You must admit to it. You knew it's a better series if Boston won Game 7 against Cleveland. You knew it. You know it. Don't deny it. I know accounting. You know I'm right on this one.
Listen, Matt, Amina and I agreed. We said this before, that the better matchup would have been somebody other than Cleveland. The better matchup would have been Sixers Warriors. That matchup would have been
Celtics and the Warriors. Come on.
Celtics Warriors. Both of those teams guaranteed.
Cavs had no business in the finals this year. Zero
right,
business.
Right, for real. Like keeping it 100. Everybody
should have been booted in the second round.
Right, keeping it a bean. If Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward were there, Cavaliers would have lost in about 5. But they weren't there. The experience and the skill of LeBron James won out. And if the Sixers had done their job and not been beat by Boston, the Sixers would have probably beat them. And it wouldn't have gone that far. We would have had the Battle of Philadelphia and probably would have lasted about 5 or 6 games, maybe 7. Right? But we didn't get that. We got part 4. And I honestly, like I said earlier, this is going to be my hottest hot take of the game. You know, LeBron James, he is a great player, but he is not. And there is no, in these comparisons, man, there is no comparison between LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant. Like there's no comparison. They don't. I've said this on this podcast before. LeBron James doesn't have the killer instinct that both Mike and Kobe had, right? LeBron James, even this series really made me question the fact that LeBron James is the leader because, listen, after game one, listen, this is basketball. We know bad calls happen. But he literally, right there during game one when they were on the bench and you saw LeBron James reacting, that was when I think we all knew that this series was over. Game one at the end. When you saw LeBron James just sitting there screaming at J.R. Smith, everybody was sitting there with their heads down. It was overtime, but you could see the look of defeat on Cleveland. And ever since then, I know we're going to have a lot of hot takes about that. Listen, the NBA, I said it last week, I'll say it this week. The NBA, no matter what y'all think, the NBA did not screw LeBron James. Cleveland screwed Cleveland. I said it last week. I say it again this week. The most important numbers from last week was 1 and 4. One missed free throw, 0 and 4 for LeBron James. You know that?
Huh?
You know that right there is the defining. What's someone else? That right there is the defining factor of the game. And you know, I listen. That was you could say that this series was won in game one. That game one was the most competitive game, and I would agree with you. That's where you can say this series was lost at. You know, for a while, and even Matt can admit this. It was high drama. Game one was the best game. We all can admit this. We all can really admit this, right? Game one was the best game, but unfortunately, that was the game where the series was won at. That's what I can say. And you know, LeBron is a great player, but he's just not MJ. He's not Kobe. It's not comparable. There's a lot of people, Bron sexuals, whatever you want to call them, that you know they will say that you know it's comparable. It's not comparable at all. LeBron ran the 20 you know the 06 to now generation. Kobe ran the 90s to now. Jordan ran the 80s to late 90s. Like it's all eras. I say this all the time. Matt agrees. Amina agrees. It's all eras, right? This is we're ending the LeBron era. That's what it's over. It's the KD and Steph era now. You know, that's it. The torch has been passed. It's definitely been passed now. This is the second time in LeBron James's career where he got swept. All right, in the finals.
First time in 2007, but to meet these Spurs.
All right, so moving right along to our last two serious questions that we could all just combine for real. We can save the why people acting like the NBA has never been dominated by super teams before for next week. Let's go to that. All right, guys. So is 45 in trouble now that Cat may sue him and try to get him deposed? And then the last one that, like I said, we're just going to combine. Will Cap wind up beating the NFL in 45? Go ahead, Matt. You can start. I know you're ready to go on this one.
First off, President Stupid ass here should not have even spoken anything when it came down to players, NFL, and anything and the patriotic situation. The point of the matter is now I said it last week and I'll say it again this week. He only had one job. And that was to do your job. If you knew the Constitution the way it's read, word for word, letter for letter, what he should have said was, you know what, they have every right to, you know, protest they wanted to protest, even though I may disagree with it, or some stock comment where it's like, you know what, fine, we'll eat it. But instead, 45 and Vice President I don't like gays, you know, President Marlon Bundo here, you know, instead put their foot in their mouth and
and here we are. He's gonna beat the NFL 45. I really do. Why? Because again, it's paid patriotism. It's full out paid patriotism. The Department of Defense has paid the National Football League to do these things. Okay. Now we can talk about flag codes, which they have violated time and 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 time again. They have violated flag code. Number one. Number two. What does the national anthem have to do with football? I'll be the first person to tell you. I mean, yes, y'all could before the games start, before kickoff, of course, the announcers talk about what they expect before the game, what they expecting and everything else. Get us ready for the game, and then I expect football right afterwards. Not you expecting what's going to happen, or you expecting the third, then the national anthem, and then football. Look, I'm sorry, stop teasing people. If there is a time and a place for patriotism, there's a time and place for that. 9/11 was one of them because it was needed. To try to keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. It's a problem. That's why I had a problem with when the play got West America during the 750 stretch in baseball. But that was it. There was a time and place for it. 9/11. Now it's like, you know what? Y'all made this stupid tradition that I totally disagree with. But you know what? It's like, yep, they came after this man because he is the face of this so-called program. Sorry, correction. He's the face of what's going on. There's a lot of social justice going on, and frankly, he's made a lot. They're putting a light on this is what's going on, and they don't like it. You do what? Either you do something about it, or you run them over. And they've been trying to not only throw this man under the bus that is Colin Kaepernick, but trying to destroy this. This man is a Super Bowl quarterback, and he's not signed yet. He should be signed. And honestly, shit, it's not just the NFL. Chip Kelly threw that man under the bus too. He has something to do with that too, but that's another story. Bottom line is simply, point it out is simply this. This is true. Philadelphia Eagles, not Philadelphia, sorry. Bro, the NFL, the National Felons, they know better to talk. They should talk with players association, where the owners made these rules. And now, what's going on? Honestly, I hope Kyle gets his money. I hope Kyle gets his money and make sure that when it comes down to speaking your mind, whether you disagree or not, that's what it is. Speaking one's mind. You don't have to disagree with it. If you're mad about it, you should be doing something about it. So we're not sorry this is going on. I'm sick of talking about this. I'm sick and tired of bringing it back up. This is year 3 of this charade. And for once, you have a 3-year-old, not a 5-year-old, running the country and we're going to hell for it. I, for one, don't want no parts of it. And if you don't want no parts of it, you should go to the polls. You should have your voice heard and say, enough is enough. You should go make your voice heard and say, you know what? This is not America that I grew up with. And this should be a better. This can be a better country. Only if you go out to the polls and you say something about this. Because frankly, we allowed this charade of a president to go on far long enough. And now he's creeping onto the NFL. You can kick rocks. You can go to hell in a handbasket as far as I'm concerned. And let's stay off my football, stay off my basketball, stay off my hockey, and most importantly, don't you ever touch baseball in your day. Baseball does have its place,
It is America. Baseball is America. You don't even touch baseball. If you do, I guarantee you will not hear the last of me at Small Right Horn.
Amina?
Yes, a little bit background information for those who don't know about what came down early this week concerning Colin Kaepernick. Well, it's been on again and off again rumors that our dear president, Donald J. Trump, told the owners of the NFL teams to not sign him unless he, said to hell with my movement that I started. Also, it's coming out more recent that our vice president, Mike Pence, may have also been in on the act too. And from what people that are involved in the legal world are saying is that it was a violation of federal law for him or both of them to go do that. So Colin Kaepernick is having right now as we speak having both of them investigated, and if it comes out that what I believe happened actually, oh, he's going to own not only the NFL, he's going to own Donald Trump, Mike Pence, and anybody else that had anything to do with this, because they've kept this man out of the league for 2 years now, and it's not acceptable. This man is nothing wrong with him. He's only going to be 31. He has no injuries. There's nothing wrong with him. He's in the prime of his career. He should be doing what he loves the most as far as careers, playing on the football field, doing what he does best outside of his social activism. And to take that away from him, and y'all know it's the prime of his career, that's a disrespect in itself. Like, it's not happening. So I say, Colin Kaepernick, go get your money. And not only does he have a federal subpoena against Pence and Trump, but he also has an actual lawsuit against the NFL that's pending as we speak as well. So after all this is said and done, I'm hoping that it happens sooner than later. That we can all just move on forward from this. He needs to also, like after this time again, needs to break his silence to do a press conference or some type of interview on 60 Minutes or C-SPAN or something where his words won't be edited and and, and censored. But it's just messed up how people take a flag, as Matt said on a previous question this afternoon, how the flag has become a god, a god to people rather than just a symbol. It's a flag. It's a piece of cloth that you can do whatever you wish with it in your own privacy. You don't have to like it or anything. I'm just being honest. It's a piece of sewn cloth with thread and needle. Come on, people. Really. A piece of cloth sewn with thread and needle. Red, white, and blue is worth more than lives, people's careers, their money. Come on. It's gotten to a point where you can't even be out there in the world having a platform and you don't believe in something that the masses do and they start an argument or a riot. And it's really messed up. Colin Kaepernick, go get your money, as I've always said, and ride off in the sunset. Do you? But you ain't got to go back to the NFL because they've shown disrespect to you since 2016. You don't have to put up with this anymore. You can go do you. And I wish him all the best. And I hope this lawsuit and this investigation he has against Pence and Trump happens. I hope it's all completed before the start of the season. Because I would hate for this to still be going on by the time the season starts. It's not going to be good. So get it over with this summer and let's move on.
I'm gonna say something I haven't said in a long time on this podcast. Matt and Amina will remember it. Hashtag Colin was right. I didn't understand when I said how we would get here, but here we are. Now that I think that Colin Kaepernick would take a knee, and that would lead to my conclusion being right, or getting there and officially being right. But I'm telling y'all right now, man. Matt said it last week. I'm saying it again this week. This is your confirmation. I haven't said this in a long time. Matter of fact, I read an article about it, I think a year or two ago. But we are headed for a strike. We are headed for a strike. That's what we're headed to. And this is how we're going to get there. Colin Kaepernick is now suing, and we all should have seen this coming a couple weeks ago when his lawyer Mark Garrigo started tweeting about the different laws and different Supreme Court cases in which the Supreme Court said that public officials cannot interfere in in uh in private matters, right? And so what we have here, as I Facebooked, what we have here is a failure of 45 and vice president dictator, right? To understand federal law, and what they don't understand is you cannot, as a public official, interfere with with uh with with private matters, and that's what they did. They interfered in a private matter. Now, if Colin Kaepernick, if somebody had, if during a couple of years ago when I see Colin Kaepernick, he was as bad as some people say, I would say, yeah, he doesn't deserve a job. But the man had 16 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Sure, he played on a bad team, but he's not a bad quarterback. And it's come out that most teams view him as a starter. He's not done in this league. As Amina said, he's 31. But I'm telling you right now that Colin Kaepernick's lawsuits keep on moving, and it seems like it's more and more of a conspiracy against him. I see less people saying, "Oh, Colin Kaepernick was a bad quarterback." Now that it's come out based on his deposition trial against the NFL, that everybody viewed him as a starter, right? Now nobody can say nothing. Now I don't see people saying, "Oh, he didn't deserve a job." Now less people are saying that, which is great. The more silence, the better. But we're headed for a strike. That's what we're headed for. 2019, 2020. That can remind me what year it is. We're headed for a strike. It's where we're going. We're headed for a strike. And I definitely think that 45 Pence and the White House are in trouble. And I definitely think that Colin Kaepernick is going to not only wind up beating the NFL. I said on this podcast that I thought it would be like Muhammad Ali in a couple of years, maybe when we all have kids, when we're all in like our 40s, 50s, late 40s, early 50s, they start recognizing who he is, right? But I've started thinking about be sooner than that, especially if these leaks from his thing have any indication. He is going to own the NFL. They might as well change.
He's going to own Trump and Pence too.
They might as well change the NFL's name. They might as well change the White House's name to the Kaepernick House, and they might as well change the NFL to KNFL, Kaepernick's National Football League, because that's what's going to happen. And I just hope y'all ready, because there is going to be a strike because of this and the fact that the NFL is bowing down to 45, and they're going to pay for that. They really are. All right, I know I said that this would last.
This is we have similar on a similar note. Research Curt Flood, because Curt Flood viewed, in a sense, the reserve clause at the time to slavery, and he got blackballed himself. Although this is the '60s, he was traded from St. Louis to Philadelphia, and he sued MLB, I think because of the reserve clause, and lost, and he never played baseball ever again. This is, again, research Curt Flood. because this isn't new in the world of sports. Only difference is this is about it wasn't this patriotism. It wasn't about patriotism. It was something people deserve laws. And he compared it to slavery. And with this, taking on an institution like the NFL, chances are you do lose, but Colin does have a case on the fact of like forced patriotism is not it does not work and it's unconstitutional.
All right, so moving right along to the question I know Amina wants me to ask, because otherwise we'd be out of here. But here we are. So Matt, why are people acting like the NBA has never been dominated by super teams before?
Because they don't understand, they don't know their history. Look, look. Listen to me under the sound of my voice. If you are looking for the next Michael Jordan, the next anyone, you will not find them. They do not. They're not here. Forget it. And that's where the problem lies. When Michael Jordan when Michael Jordan retired, we all agreed, those that watched him play, he was the best at his game. One of the best all-around players in NBA history. You can you you cannot disagree with that. And then we saw Kobe Bryant, one of the best. No, one of the best basketball players of his time, of his era, and literally one of the best ball players under 2 minutes. Bird was one of the best clutch shooters of the NBA. AI, one of the best dribblers in the NBA as far as breaking down the defenders and going to the hole and everything else. The point is, the study of the game is just as important. To try to compare one to the other is unfair. It is not right. It's fun to a point. And I think NBA fans has gotten a bit dumber because of it. And here's why. We can look at LeBron James, and yes, he is a talent in and of itself. But my question is, when you look at Michael Jordan's all-around game, you look at Bird's clutch in the clutch G. You can look at Magic Johnson playing all five positions and changing the game. You can look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar slash Lou Alcindor. We can go on. Elgin Baylor, Dr. J. May I go on? Even to Wilt and Bill and Dolph Shays and the like. The point is simply this. The way the game is played today versus 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they're different. And then to compare one group of players to another, one player to another is not fair, it's not right. It's which takes away from the study of the game. Now, why? My question is, why does it happen in basketball all the time versus football, where you can go ahead and compare this? No one in their mom will try to dare compare Montana to anybody, Brady to anybody. Well, if you're except Peyton Manning, or even dare to try to compare Johnny Unitas to say, oh, Y.A. Tittle. The point is simply this. The game is to be enjoyed. You can study the game. You can take the game, break it apart for what it is. But to go as far as you're not even comparing anymore. You're just looking for the next
add superstar here. There will never be. Get it to your six. Get it through to six stalls. There will never be another Michael Jordan. There will never be Kobe Bryant. Another Kobe Bryant. There will never be another Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Charles Barkley. Add superstar name here. The days of we want more are over. It's time to move on. LeBron James is now 33, 34 years old. It's time to move on. You can study the game for what it is. You can study a man's career for what it is. But it's time to move on from Michael Jordan. It's time to move on from the 90s. It's time to move on from the 2000s. It's time to move on. Get over yourselves. Lick your wounds. I don't care about your feelings. Just move on.
I really have nothing to say. On this, I had a hot take last week where I talked about Birds, Celtics, Magic's Lakers, Dwayne Wade's, and LeBron James's 2014 Heat, Kevin Garnett, Pearson, Allen Celtics. I've talked about this at nauseum last week, so I'm not really going to yield. I'm going to yield my time to Amina, but before I do, I'm going to echo what Matt just said. Know your history, learn, read. That's what YouTube, that's what ESPN Classic is for. That's what the NBA Network is for right now. Know your history. Go back and look at the previous teams and see that super teams have reigned in the NBA for years. Read a book. Read the NBA encyclopedia. I know I did as a kid. Read the stuff. Watch the stuff. ESPN Classic, NBA Network. Do something with your lives. Stop just being armchair players. Read. Know the game. You shouldn't just have to have a podcast and be a sports reporter to accurately talk about the game. Know the game. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, Amina. My bad.
Yes, I totally agree with both of what you all have said. The NBA was formed in a year called 1946. We're going to talk about
I
when
actually in 19
when the merger happened. It was in 46. Anyway, I love you. Minus the little bit of the 40s that the NBA had, the super team era started in the 1950s. It's been going on every decade since. That's over 60 years ago. Why folks don't want to know that is beyond me. But I know what's going on, and it's been coming out to me in recent days where it's a whole lot of people claiming to be NBA fans and they don't study shit. Sorry to hear to say this word, but they don't know nothing. You ask them questions that happened before LeBron James 2003 draft days, they don't know nothing. It's like, what's going on? I mean, you had Jerry West, his Lakers. You had that was in the 70s and 60s. You had Larry Bird's 80s Celtics. You had Bill Russell's Celtics in the 50s and 60s. You had Wilt Chamberlain's Warriors and Sixers in the 60s and 70s. You had
what about him
Kareem
being a
Abdul
Laker?
you had Kareem Abdul Jabbar, Bucks and Lakers. Even more recent super team eras, you had the Bad Boy Pistons in the 80s and early 90s with Dennis Rodman. You had Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen's Bulls in the 90s. You had Kobe Bryant in the late 90s and the 2000s. You had Timmy D's Spurs in the same time period. You even had D Wade's Heat just a few years ago before this current situation came about. So this is not recent. This is over 6 decades of super teams that people don't want to admit exist. I don't know why, but it's not acceptable. You have to know the history. You have to study. You have to read. Highland said it himself. We live in the modern technological era where YouTube is at your disposal, encyclopedias are at your disposal. You got sports channels on premium cable packages at your disposal. Periodically, they sometimes play old games on TV on those channels at your disposal. I don't know what's up. People just don't want to read and study. They don't even want to watch the old highlight videos. Come on. You could even talk about Charles Barkley if you want to be honest about it. When he was on the Rockets, like, come on. Like, I don't get it. Like, it's always been super teams, but you tell people that they claim to be NBA fans and they just don't get it. Super teams have always existed to the general public in the NBA since the 50s. They've always existed. They always will. Right now, it's Golden State fans running things, but 10 years from now, it's going to be another team. And people are going to deny that team too, whatever team it may be. 50 years from now, it's going to be another big super team. People are going to deny that team too. People deny what they don't understand. They deny what they don't know out of ignorance, and it's not happening. Don't ever call yourself an NBA fan if you don't know nothing about the history of these super teams because you look like a fraud. Always been super teams, always will be in the NBA. It's one every generation. Read the stats, read the history. It's one every generation. At least once every 10 years, it's a major super team. And it's always going to be like that. Next decade is coming. It's going to be a new super team in the 2020s. Get used to it. That's y'all.
All right, well, that does it for this y'all on social media and the people that follow the podcast channel and my channel. I told y'all this podcast was going to be hot. I hope we lived up to the billing. Definitely, like I said, follow us on Twitter at the Crossover Sports at the Crossover PO1 is our Twitter channel. You can follow me at Colin W. Watson. At Small Red Horn is Matt's Twitter handle. He's always up for debates on that. And Amina Muhammad on Facebook. For those of you super team people, you LeBron sexuals, extreme LeBron fans, whatever you call yourselves, you can hit us up and tell us how we're wrong and how, even though he just got swept again, he still compares to Michael Jordan. We'll laugh at you, but we'll give you some gas. And everything else. Let's see. Any final thoughts? Nothing really, man. We just want to thank y'all for y'all support. Last two videos have hit 100 views, so definitely keep supporting, keep sharing. We thank y'all for the support, whether you watch now, whether you watch later. Thank you for the support. Hit us up, man. Let us know what you love about the show, what you want us to dive into more. Let us know if you want more hockey and baseball coverage. Matt's always down to do that. Just let us know, man. We're like I said, I'm so excited that this channel just keeps growing and this podcast keeps growing. And I hope that you will continue to support us throughout the summer months. Thank you all. Enjoy your Saturday. Oh, yes, before we go, shouts out to my brother, Christopher Watson, a.k.a. Bless Watson. Check him out, Bless Watson on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. It's his birthday.
He's 23.
His Jordan year, 23, or his LeBron year for some of y'all that love LeBron. It's his Jordan year / LeBron year. Shout him out. Happy birthday. He's not in the room. He's out. Otherwise, I would have Matt get the guitar. We would sing to him, but he's not here. So, deuces. Y'all have a great weekend. Deuces.